Maybe there is something you want very badly right now. An answer, an opportunity, a financial breakthrough, someone's recognition. Maybe you are doing everything you can to make it happen, and yet, the harder you try, the farther away it seems to become. So listen carefully, because maybe the problem is not that you are doing too little. Maybe it is exactly the opposite. You are forcing too much. There comes a point when persistence stops being determination and turns into anxiety. You try to control timing, people, answers, and outcomes that were never completely in your hands, and without realizing it, you lose the very things that could bring you closer to what you want: your calm, your clarity, and your self-mastery. That is why calm down and everything will come does not mean sitting back and waiting. It means understanding the difference between acting with determination and trying to force life to obey your will. Today you will discover 7 Stoic lessons that will teach you how to stop forcing without giving up, how to let go without abandoning your goals, and how to find a calmness that makes your actions more powerful. And remember the final lesson, because it reveals the paradox behind all of this. Maybe you do not need to desire less. Maybe you need to learn how to desire without depending. Lesson 1. The more you try to control, the more control you lose. Imagine holding a handful of sand in your open palm. As long as your hand remains open, the sand stays there. But try squeezing it as tightly as you can. The harder you squeeze, the more grains slip through your fingers. Many people do exactly this with their lives. They try to control what someone thinks when an opportunity should appear, how long a result is allowed to take, and the greater the uncertainty, the tighter they squeeze. Epictetus placed an essential distinction at the heart of his philosophy. Some things are up to us, and others are not. Your effort is up to you. Your choices, your words, and the way you respond are up to you. But other people's reactions, unexpected events, and the exact moment when your efforts will bear fruit do not obey your will. Anxiety begins when you try to control precisely that second part. So when something is stealing your peace, ask yourself, what part of this is actually up to me? Do that part as well as you can, then open your hand. Letting go does not mean abandoning what you want. It means stopping the waste of your strength on trying to govern what does not belong to you. When you do that, your energy finally returns to the place where it can actually create change. Lesson 2. Not everything that takes time is going wrong. If an answer does not come, we imagine the worst. If a result takes longer than expected, we think we have failed. And when change does not happen as quickly as we want, we feel the urge to force it. Send another message. Change the plan again. Make any decision just to escape the discomfort of waiting. But how many bad decisions have you made, not because you needed to act, but because you could not tolerate not knowing? Imagine someone planting a seed and digging it up every morning to check whether it has started growing. He wants to speed up the result, but instead he interrupts the process. There are things in life that do not respond to force. You prepare the soil, you plant, you care for it, you water it, and then there comes a moment when you must allow it to mature. That is not passivity. A calm person knows how to wait without standing still. They continue learning, working, and preparing, but they do not destroy today what needs time to exist tomorrow. Maybe something you believe is delayed is simply maturing, and perhaps your next demonstration of strength is not doing more, but continuing to do what is necessary without demanding that life immediately show you the result. Lesson 3. Stop chasing answers from other people. There is a form of forcing that destroys the peace of many people, trying to pull from others what they are not freely giving. An answer, an explanation, attention, recognition, affection. You send a message and wait. Nothing. You check again. You start imagining why. You replay the conversation, searching for something you might have done wrong, and you feel the urge to reach out one more time. Notice what just happened. Another person became silent, and suddenly your peace began to depend on their silence ending. You can show interest, you can have a conversation, you can fight for a relationship in which both people are still fighting, but there is a boundary. Beyond that boundary, you are no longer building a relationship. You are trying to control a decision that belongs to someone else. That is where letting go becomes an act of self-respect. If someone needs space, allow that space. If someone does not recognize your value, do not turn your life into a campaign to convince them. And if an answer does not come, Do not allow another person's silence to become constant noise inside your mind. Sometimes when you stop chasing an answer, you finally realize that the person's behavior was already giving you one. Lesson 4. Anxiety makes you force doors you should be observing. Imagine standing in front of a closed door. You turn the handle, but it does not open. So you push, you try again, you use more force until all your attention becomes trapped on that single entrance. But what if there is another door? When you believe you need one specific outcome in order to be okay, your vision narrows. There is only that person, that opportunity, that plan. And you begin ignoring signs and persisting, not because it still makes sense, but because you are afraid to let go. Calmness does not promise to open that door. It does something different. It allows you to take a few steps back and see the entire wall. Maybe there is another entrance. Maybe the time is not right yet. Maybe you need to build a different path. Or perhaps you will discover that you are trying to enter the wrong place. So before forcing something that is not working one more time, ask yourself, am I persisting because this still makes sense, or because I'm afraid to accept that I need to change? Some doors require persistence, others require patience, and some only begin to set you free when you finally stop knocking. If this reflection is helping you see your life differently, subscribe to Stoic Spring. By creating the habit of caring for your inner peace, you will also grow in maturity and learn to face problems without allowing them to rule your mind. And now we reach the decisive part, because stopping the force does not mean stopping the action. It means learning exactly where to place the energy you have just recovered. Lesson 5. Do your part and let go of the outcome. There is a huge difference between commitment and attachment. Commitment says, I will do everything within my power. Attachment says, after everything I have done, this has to happen. And much of our suffering begins with that second sentence. You can study for an exam, but you cannot control every question. You can prepare an excellent proposal, but you cannot force someone to accept it. You can care for a relationship, but you cannot control another person's heart. Stoicism does not teach you to abandon your goals. It teaches you to separate your responsibility from the final outcome. Do your part with excellence. Prepare yourself, be disciplined, correct your mistakes. Try again when it makes sense. But then let go of the need to guarantee the outcome. Think of an archer. He can train, adjust his posture, control his breathing, aim, and make the best shot possible. But once the arrow leaves his fingers, not everything remains under his control. Live the same way. Put more energy into what you can do today and less anxiety into what you hope to receive tomorrow. When you replace the question, when will this finally happen, with, what can I still do well today? You stop being a prisoner of the outcome and become responsible for the path again. Lesson 6. Silence creates space for what hurry destroys. Not every situation needs an immediate response. Not every problem needs to be solved today. Not every provocation deserves a reaction. But anxiety hates empty spaces. It wants to fill the silence immediately. That is why you respond while you are angry, make decisions while you are afraid, and give up while you are exhausted. Later, you realize that a few hours of calm might have prevented weeks of regret. The Stoics trained their minds not to be immediately carried away by first impressions. Do the same. Between what happens and what you decide to do, create space. If someone provokes you, wait before responding. If something goes wrong, do not turn 5 minutes of frustration into a conclusion about your entire future. If some news frightens you, do not make a permanent decision while your mind is still ruled by fear. Think of water being shaken inside a container. As long as you keep shaking it, you cannot see through it. Put the container down and wait. Little by little, the water becomes clear again. Your mind needs the same thing. Maybe you are not without an answer. Maybe you are simply making too much noise to notice it. And that brings us to the final lesson, because there is something even harder than letting go of an outcome. Continuing to desire something without surrendering your peace to that desire. Lesson 7. Learn to desire without depending. Here is the paradox I promised you at the beginning. You do not need to stop wanting a better life. You do not need to give up on love, abandon your dreams, or pretend that opportunities and achievements do not matter. The problem begins when I want this to happen becomes this has to happen for me to be okay. I would like this person to stay becomes I cannot be okay if they leave. I want to succeed becomes if I fail, I have no value. At that moment, you stop owning the desire. The desire begins to own you. That is why letting go feels so difficult. You believe that if you stop being desperate, you will lose your motivation. But calmness does not eliminate ambition. It eliminates slavery. You keep walking toward what you want, but you no longer drag your peace along the ground on the way there. When you do not desperately need someone's approval, you can be more authentic. When you do not need an opportunity to work out at any cost, you can see it more clearly. And when you do not need every outcome to prove your worth, you can fail, learn, and keep going. This is where the phrase, "When you stop forcing, everything starts to come," reveals its true meaning. It is not a promise that life will give you everything you want. Some things will not come. Some people will leave. Some doors will remain closed. But when you stop forcing, you recover what anxiety was stealing from you: clarity, patience, dignity, and the freedom to choose better. And that creates the conditions for many things that once seemed distant to finally find space in your life. You notice opportunities you once ignored. You stop pushing people away with desperation. You allow processes to mature. You make better decisions. You learn when to persist and when to change direction. Things do not start coming because you stopped taking action. They begin to find space because you stopped trying to control everything. So the next time you feel that urge to force an answer, accelerate an outcome, or chase someone, remember, calm down, do your part, and then let go. You do not need to know today how everything will end in order to live this day well. You do not need every answer to keep moving forward, and you do not need to control the future to be at peace in the present. If this video found you at a moment when you needed to stop forcing something, write in the comments, "I do my part and let go of what I cannot control." Let those words become a commitment to the way you want to live from now on. And if you want to keep building the habit of protecting your inner peace and growing in maturity so you can face life's challenges without losing yourself, subscribe to Stoic Spring. Do what is up to you, let go of what is not, and keep moving forward. Because very often, it is only when you stop holding life so tightly that you can finally open your hands to receive what it may still bring.